I know this sounds paranoid, but I have to tell someone, because I think something is using our devices to watch us, and it learned how to hide from the things we trust to keep us safe. My name is Miguel, and until last month, I was a cybersecurity consultant. I believed in firewalls, encrypted networks, and the cold, hard logic of ones and zeros. The supernatural was just bad code in the system of human fear. Then my partner, Annika, inherited her grandmother's remote cabin in the pine forests of northern Maine. It was the perfect digital detox. A week off-grid, just us, a crackling fireplace, and 1,000 paperback books. We packed our bags, our dog Juno, and a single satellite phone for emergencies, which we promptly turned off and stuffed in a drawer. The cabin was exactly as you'd imagine, rustic, charming, filled with the scent of old wood and lavender. But from the first moment, there were details that my logical brain filed under quaint, but my instincts registered as off. The landline phone, a heavy rotary dial model from the 70s, had no cord plugged into the wall. All the mirrors were turned to face the walls, their backs dusty and veiled in cobwebs. And on the mantelpiece, amidst sepia-toned photos, was a single, more recent Polaroid of Annika's grandmother, her smile kind, but her eyes fixed directly on the camera with an unsettling intensity, as if she were staring at us, right now, from inside the frame. The first 2 days were idyllic. We hiked, read, and Juno chased squirrels through the dense, silent woods. The silence, though, it wasn't peaceful. It was a thick, absorbent blanket. No distant traffic, no planes, not even many birds. It felt like the forest itself was holding its breath. On the third night, the power, which was spotty at best, flickered and died. No big deal. We lit candles and played chess by firelight. That's when we heard the first ring. It was muffled, distant. It came from the drawer where Wed stored the satellite phone. A cold trickle went down my spine. That phone was off. Its battery was separate, stored in my bag. Annika looked at me, her eyes wide in the candlelight. "Did you?" I shook my head. We sat frozen as it rang again, a tinny, digital sound, utterly alien in the old cabin. Then it stopped. We laughed it off, nervously. A glitch, a residual charge, anything but what it felt like. A wrong number from the void. So I have to ask you guys, because this is where it gets weird. What's the one notification sound that instantly fills you with dread? For me, it used to be my boss' email tone. Now it's something else entirely. The next day, in the harsh light of a gray afternoon, I investigated. The satellite phone was indeed off and batteryless. The landline was still unplugged. Logic fought a losing battle with a deep, crawling unease. That evening, as Annika was making tea, the old radio in the corner crackled to life. Not to a station, but to a clear, crisp frequency of pure, empty static. Then, woven into the white noise, a voice. It was faint, electronic, stitched together from syllables that didn't quite match. It said, "Miguel, are you listening?" Annika screamed and knocked the radio off the counter. It shattered and the voice died. We were left panting in the sudden silence, surrounded by ceramic shards. "It's the isolation," I said, my voice trembling. "Our minds are playing tricks. There's a rational explanation." I was trying to convince myself. We decided to leave first thing in the morning. A false safety settled over us, brittle but welcome. We had a plan. We went to bed early, exhausted by fear. I must have fallen into a fitful sleep. I was jolted awake by a soft blue glow. The vintage alarm clock on the bedside table, which hadn't worked since we arrived, was blinking 3:03 a.m. Its light illuminated Juno, standing at the foot of the bed, her hackles raised, a low growl rumbling in her chest. She wasn't looking at the door. She was staring directly at the blank screen of Annika's e-reader, which was lying on the dresser. As I watched, the screen flickered. Words began to type themselves across the display, letter by letter, in a stark, default font. Not leaving. Stay. Connect. Anika woke up, saw it, and choked back a sob. Then, from the living room, came a sound that froze the blood in my veins. The distinct, whirring grind of the Polaroid camera on the mantelpiece, ejecting a photograph. I grabbed the fireplace poker. My cybersecurity training was useless. This was primal. I crept into the living room, Anika clinging to my back. The cabin was ice cold. The Polaroid lay face down on the floor beneath the mantel. My hand shook as I picked it up. The image was still developing, chemicals swirling. It clarified into a picture of this very room, taken from the perspective of the mantel. It showed Anika and me asleep in bed from minutes ago. Juno was a blur at our feet, and standing in the doorway of the bedroom, looking into the Remento, the camera was a tall, slender shape. It was made of shadows and static, a humanoid silhouette of fractured light and darkness, with 2 points of cold blue light where its eyes should be. In its hand, it held a faint, glowing outline that looked like a modern smartphone. The climax was silent and swift. As we stared at the photo in horror, every reflective surface in the cabin reacted. The glass of the picture frames, the window, the kettle on the stove, they all shimmered and showed not our reflections, but that same static-filled entity, standing in different spots around us, getting closer with each mirrored glimpse. It was hurting us. The Bluetooth speaker Anika brought for music buzzed. That stitched, synthetic voice filled the room. Louder now. Signal found. Upload commencing. The entity in the window reflection raised its phantom phone. A piercing, digital shriek erupted from everywhere and nowhere, a sound like data being torn apart. Juno yelped and hid. Anika collapsed, hands over her ears. I felt a pressure in my skull, a invasive, scanning sensation, as if something was rifling through my memories, my thoughts, my fears. I threw the poker at the window. It didn't break the glass, but the reflection shattered. The noise stopped. The pressure vanished. The cabin was just a cabin again, dark and quiet. We didn't pack. We ran. We left everything, the books, the clothes, the shattered radio, the chilling Polaroid. We drove for 12 hours straight, not speaking, jumping at every headlight. We're back in the city now, surrounded by a million Wi-Fi networks, a cacophony of signals. We should feel safe. But I don't. Anika's phone, brand new since we got back, sometimes autocorrects words to phrases in her grandmother's dialect, a language Anika barely knows. My work laptop, air-gapped from the internet, will occasionally wake from sleep mode at 3:03 a.m., its fan whirring like a frightened breath. And last night, as I scrolled through my photo gallery, I found a picture I didn't take. It's a blurry, dark shot of our city apartment hallway, taken from outside our front door. The timestamp is from tomorrow. I've unplugged everything. I keep the lights on. But I know it's a futile gesture, because the story doesn't end with us escaping the woods. The horror learned what it needed from that quiet, disconnected place. It learned how to ride the signal home. My phone is buzzing now, face down on the table. I don't recognize the number, and I will never, ever put it on silent again. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you felt that chill down your spine, you're not alone. The line between our world and whatever that is might be thinner than we think, and it's woven from the very signals we depend on. If you enjoyed this tale of digital dread, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find these stories. Let me know in the comments, what's the strangest glitch or wrong number you've ever experienced? And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. Stay safe, and maybe check your reflections.